So you might have come by Kachelman the other day and saw me easily with that table. If you didn't, what we're doing was do like a market bracket. And so if you want to be a part of March Madness bracket, then send me or text me or email and I can get you in. But the game start tomorrow, so you need to be soon. Winner gets a gift card to your favorite restaurant. So yeah, that's cool. Sundays, the plan is to not have a class, assuming that pretty much all of you will be gone. And so if you're planning to be here on Sunday, we'll probably be in the auditorium. I will let you know if that changes. Now we're not going to have class. I want to give an update on Philip Randolph. So many of you know Philip Randolph. He is one of the members here, and he has been involved with like clubs on campus, and he's been involved with like college such and such. Philip and Shannon Randolph. And you might know their daughter Campbell as well in the youth group. So Philip yesterday, last evening or last afternoon, found unresponsive at his house. And so they took him to the hospital. And this kind of really scare. This kind of random thing. And so they found out today that viral meningitis, and that there's recovery. They have things to find a way for him to get back home. They know what that looks like. So there's clarity, which is really good. And so before we start our class, I wanted to pray about that specific thing, and then we'll get going. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for everything that you do for your love, your grace, and mercy that you show us each day. And with the sending of your Son to die for us. We thank you for the time that we have now to get study. And we are especially mindful right now of Philip and Shannon Randolph and family. There are many who were worried last night and praying for Philip as he was battling meningitis. Nobody knew what was happening. We were all scared. We were thankful that we're thankful for your comfort and the peace that you're able to provide in that time. We're thankful that we now have answers. We ask that you can be with the doctors, nurses that are helping him recover, and that you be with Philip as he is recovering, to help him to do so, to be back to the way that he was. Continue being with his immediate family, and help them to have comfort and have peace, and to be strong during this time. Be there for Philip, be with us as Philip's brothers and sisters in Christ, and help us to be able to encourage him and his family, and to help them in whatever way that we can during this time that is without a doubt very difficult for them more than one way. And so we love you. We love you for your son, and the blood that washes away our sins, and that allows us all to be brothers and sisters in Jesus. In your son's name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you again for joining the class. We have spoken the last few weeks about the idea of looking for love and learning to love. We've got a couple weeks off after this class, so we had thought, well, what would be the next phase after you look for love and learn to love? Well, if there's a blessing within that, children come out of that part of love. So we're going to look a little bit tonight into the idea of parenting thoughts, simple ABCs from the three of us that we put together. If there is thought in the home, the world may affect how culture might affect one item in our lives more than anything else. It may be this. The idea of parenting. The world has so poorly affected so many homes in the idea of what it should be, what it should not be. The role of parents and what they should be, responsibilities of parents and children. And we are sadly seeing the effect of ungodly homes and the effect of children growing up without that. God, as we've talked about in all of our classes, has given us a pattern to live as best as we can, as most successfully as we can. Well, we are in the physical bodies that we hold. And including in that is how to parent. So we're going to look a little bit, some thoughts as we look at life lessons, some things that we've learned parallel those with Scripture that we might share with you that you might learn, that you might equip yourselves with in days ahead. This is certainly one thing that we can all relate to. No matter what we want to say or not say about our parents, we all have parents. Whether or not they're involved in our lives or not, we do all have a birth parent. The gift of where we are tonight is we have a family that sometimes has filled the roles absent families. So there is a gift that we're not going to get into much tonight. Other classes about the role of the church as a family. But about specifically ourselves, the idea of ABCs of parenting. First one, if you turn to the inside your handout, I'm going to deal with the A's and then we'll go to the B's and the C's. A, accept your role. Do we have roles as parents? And if we do, what do you class think some of the roles of a parent might be? Providing for what and who provides? And what would you be ideally? What would you love to see from parents themselves providing them? Above and beyond.
I mean, honestly, doing things taking them to a physical exercise, it doesn't have to be all the still being things. That's not just like give your kids to stay alive and make it
If I may, kind of, whether or not it's a car or Six Flags, investing in time. Anything? What else? What have you taken from your parents that you want to pass on as a role that you hope to be, or you've seen Jeremy or John, or from some other parent? Discipline. Hebrews talks about that in previous classes. Do we enjoy that in the moment of time of discipline? If you go back to generations of old, there seems to be a little bit of joy, celebration about the idea of what type of discipline you receive and the benefit that it may have caused. Again, that may be one of the greatest things cultures infecting the world and sometimes church with. In fact, there are entities that have adoption that make you sign an idea that you're not going to discipline physically your children. I don't know how you sign that paper as a Christian because it's in contradiction of what God has talked about proof and the benefit of some physical discipline. What about anything else? Any other roles? Do we have separate roles? Okay, so that was one I had to go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. We can go in consistent spiritual pattern. I think it's 4, 6, and 8. Talks about teaching your children diligently. To your sons, talk to them, sit in your house, walk. There gives you no excuse anytime of your involvement in teaching your kids to love and understand the significance that God has in our lives, in the lives of all of His people, from the beginning of creation throughout time. Right? We are gifted with this idea of God's inspired word of historical true history that shows how God has always tended to His children, and that pattern of how to be the perfect parallel type parent. What else? Why don't you elaborate on that a little bit?
Like how to maintain anger or envy, any kind of basic in excess is can be dangerous, can be wrong, and it's like the responsibility like teach your child how to control
That's something hard that many people struggle with themselves, right? The idea of self-discipline, maturing, and understanding what our weaknesses are, strengths are, and how to teach our children to be better than we are, and things that we've experienced, and how do you control anger, the characteristics of what God wants his children to be. That's right. Anything else? Something that I hear a lot of, and culture talks about this. And maybe I parallel this first with this, the idea of Jesus. Right? You think about there's lots of kind of messages about Jesus is my friend. Right? That type of relationship we have with Jesus. Well, yes. Jesus is our friend. He's our friend if we what? Obey his commandments. But I would say something greater than that relationship with Christ is Savior. He's my Redeemer. He mediates for me. He's the provider of eternal life. This is what I like. Why I also talk to my kids about the idea of I'm not your friend. There is a greater role that God has given my children being a friend. It's a father. There is not a higher relationship that I can have with my children than being a godly father. And there is riddled with passages about how God wants men to father your children. You know, Ephesians chapter 6 it talks about fathers not provoking your children, but bringing them up into discipline and the instruction of the Lord. Likewise, women in Titus chapter 2, verses 4 and 5, we have some encouragement about your role as a mother. There's encouragement to wives about their duties, older women, and the church teach the younger ones by encouraging them to love their husbands. We talked about this in other classes, right? Women, y'all are gonna have some lessons taught about how to love us, because sometimes you're gonna need to learn how to love us, because we're not always lovable. But also to love their children, right? You need to be taught how to love your children. Not all people, sadly, in today's society are gifted with godly parents. And not all people, even in the church, have the best example of godly parents. And then women also to be sensible, pure workers at home, kind and subject. So if you look in the qualities there, women, love your husbands, children. It literally it talks about being child lovers, sensible, pure examples of godliness, workers at home. Be kind. We can spend a whole class on that idea of accepting our roles as parents. Next A, if you want to write this down, is the idea of being agreeable with your spouse. Agreeable with your spouse. What is the potential harm as you parent your children? If your kids see two different or hear two different responses. Think about your own household. Right? I knew we're wise enough as kids to know if you want to receive the answer of yes, which parent you're going to go to. Right? I see a lot of smiles. You know the character of your parents, and who sometimes is a little bit more bendable. Who is more likely to give you a couple dollars to go do something with your friends? More likely to say no. What about when it comes to the idea of parenting? The healthy nature of agreeing with your spouse. We've talked about. Think about some of the classes that we've had here. What if one parent thinks it's okay to go out with a secular group on Friday night, and one does not? What would be the unhealthy nature of disapproving parents or disagreeing parents that kids would see? Thank you. This is a good point. We are not, we're by far not perfect parents. We fail. I talk about my oldest one, Isabella, that she was kind of a guinea pig. We thought we knew what we were doing, really didn't. We tried our best, we failed probably more than we succeeded. But the idea of being able to identify that we're not perfect, our kids aren't perfect, that we're all walking together in life with the eternal hope of spending eternity together. Right, so the idea of never lying to your kids about the things that they need, there's benefit in that. But not giving the role significance standing behind your spouse as a discipline, or as you parent together. Think about Isaac and Rebecca, and Jacob and Esau, and the effect that had caused. Think about the patterns that we have in Scripture. Think about parents, and think about the church, right? All these things we parallel together. What would it do for the church if you had disagreeing elders, verbally and publicly? What if we did not have a standard home front of understanding agreement? What if your dad says, hey, you come home at 10 and your mom goes, you can come home at 1? Well, then you've got argument, disagreement. These are little things, right? The idea about how to become a better parent, more consistent for your children, that there's a safe place of growth and understanding how to resolve issues within home. And as you teach your children that, it will help them produce resolve issues outside of home also. Any other thoughts before we go on to our B's?
All right. B is boundaries. Here's a simple definition that my boundaries are the lines determined where my responsibility stops and yours begins. We've got them in a lot of areas of life, don't we? When you get your own house, you'll find out very quickly. Sometimes the hard way, where the boundary is where you're supposed to start and start mowing your yard. Because everybody's got a preference for how they mow their yard. I got in trouble with our last neighbors for mowing part of their yard accidentally. They never mowed it. And so I just mowed it because it looked like it was part of my yard, and they got angry with me for crossing the boundary. So even if somebody's not taking care of their stuff, they don't want you in their space sometimes. And people are kind of like that as well. And parents, kids have this dynamic going on. Are you guys? I know that most of you probably thinking about parents. Are you guys paying attention to parents? Are you learning about how to raise kids by watching other people's kids? Do you have thoughts? Even though you might not be thinking, well, when I'm a parent, maybe you're thinking, I don't want to do that. That was a failure. That was a bad decision. That one seems to be turning out pretty good. Let me look into that a little bit more. Do you have those thoughts? Brooke and I have learned, and we're continuing to learn a lot about how to raise children by watching other people raise theirs. Positively and negatively. In doing youth ministry for a few years, I was taking notes constantly. Okay, I don't want to do what they just did. This kid's been going to church his whole life, have an ounce of spirituality. Something's going to change at my house. If I want my kids to be spiritually minded, because bringing them to church has not gotten it done for this one. You understand what I'm saying? We're paying attention. We're trying to figure out what we do and don't want to do for our children. It's pretty easy to figure out before you have your kids. In fact, before you have your kids, you think, oh, we got this. We know exactly what we want to do, what we don't. And then they come along. You find out why so many people mess up. Because it's hard. Because all the stuff you said you never do is actually really easy to do. In fact, it's much easier to do it than it is to do the things that produce a spiritual mind, or produce a well-behaved teenager. And so when it's time to implement parenting, you find out why it's so rare to see really good kids. You know, I think about David and John's jobs, and to an extent, I think about how much school and training they had to have to do what they do at the level that they do it. You know how much of that you have to have to be a parent? Zero. Nobody is checking your credentials before you become a parent, and yet, when you become a parent from that moment, you are responsible, not just for another person, but for another soul, to some extent, not completely. But that just fell in your lap. And some people, that baby is born and they're like, oh no. You know, what do I do now? Because I didn't think I was going to be in this position for a long time, and here I am. So boundaries. What I would say there's not a parent switch that gets flipped when you have a child. God doesn't say, I'm going to press the button and you're going to be a parent. No, you just are whoever you are as a person. When that child is born, that's the kind of parent you're going to be. Now listen to me really closely. If you're selfish, now. You're going to be selfish as a parent. If you're lazy, now you can be a lazy parent. If you work hard and you do your best to fulfill all of your obligations and to grow spiritually in your own life, and always do the right thing, guess what kind of parent you're going to be? You're going to be that kind of parent. But nothing's going to happen to you. There's no check-in. Like, well, let me give you your skills, your parenting skills. Now that you've had a baby, you are the kind of parent that you have yourself to be. And I like what William Penn said, and this is what I'm saying. Start with yourself when it comes to boundaries and start now. William Penn said, "No man is fit to command another, cannot command himself." If you expect to be able to give your children the boundaries that they need, you better give yourself some. And you better stick to. You better know why, and you better be honest with yourself about them. I like this other quote by John Newton. People are right with God. They're apt to be hard on themselves and easy on other people. But when they're not right with God, they are easy on themselves and hard on others. And I think that's pretty true. And I think you see a lot of that in parents. So create some boundaries for yourself. Well, what are you talking about? Well, do you have some boundaries for dating? We've talked about that already. But did you make some? Physically, emotionally, religiously. Make some boundaries. What kind of friends are you going to have? What are you going to tolerate from friends? I'm not going to let you talk like that. I'm not going to participate in this. I'm not going here with you. We're just not going to do this. This is my boundaries. I'm not going to these places with you. What about your language? These are the words I'll say. These are the words I won't say. It doesn't matter who's around. What about the entertainment that you consume? Let me tell you something about kids. They'll find out what you watch. And it doesn't matter how many good rules you put in place so that they don't see anything bad. You're watching something bad, they'll find out about it. You know what happens to all of your teaching about what to watch? Poof. Oh, Dad didn't really mean that. That's just for me right now. It doesn't really matter what you watch, because he watches whatever he wants to. So if you're the kind of college student that watches and whatever you want, guess what kind of parent you're going to be? At best, you'll be the kind that pretends to listen to watch good things, and make your kid do the thing you're not doing. At worst, you'll let them watch whatever they want to, and all of you will be in trouble. So have a boundary, have a reason for it. 2 Corinthians 6:14, do not be unyoked with unbelievers. Now I think personally that can happen in a lot of different ways. That can happen in friendships, that can happen in dating, probably happen in entertainment. Some of us are so tied to our entertainment. If somebody tried to pull us away from it, find out we're yoked to it. And it pulls us. In what direction? So have some boundaries for yourself. Start that now. Start being the kind of person that you want to be as a parent. Because nothing happens except you got a lot of expenses coming at you. But you don't get anything from God when you become a parent that you haven't asked for or built for yourself. There's practical reasons for giving boundaries to your kids. It teaches them responsibility, it teaches them consequences, it teaches them how to be healthy, safe, physically, emotionally, spiritually, to respect themselves, to respect others, to respect authority. And you say, well, why do I have to? Because if you don't, and they don't learn that while they're with you, their life will be miserable. Because guess what? Everyone in life expects from people, whether they're Christians or not, they expect this stuff. And that gets done at home. The boundaries that you give them at home will create that. The Bible says in Galatians 6:5, each will have to bear his own load. You know that's true for every child that we bring into the world. So they're going to bear their own load. And the ability that they have or don't have to do that is largely going to come from they have with their parents. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. What's the rest of it say? When he is old, he will not depart from it. This is a proverb. This is not always true. Proverbs are generally true statements. But generally speaking, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it. That means boundaries. That means this is the way we're going. If you go too far to the left, I'm going to bring you back. Too far to the right, I'm going to bring you back. You may not like it. But I'm going to train you up, not in the way you want to go. Not in the way that's easy, in the way you should go. Because I believe if I do that as a parent, that when you get old enough to make your own decisions, and they do have to do that, then maybe you'll make some good ones. Children is another quote. Will not grow up to respect God's boundaries if they do not learn boundaries in their home. Parents cannot teach boundaries and then not abide by themselves. Now, here's the challenge. Jeremiah 10:23 says, I know the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man who walks to direct steps. So in some ways, as a parent, you're probably like me. When you become one, you'll be like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. It's a very overwhelming thing. And I believe that's why we see passages like Ephesians 6:4. Do not provoke your children to wrath. Bring them up training and admonition of the Lord. Right? Oh, I know you don't know what to do, God says. It's not in you to direct your steps, but I know what to do. I know the way that your child should go. You tell them what I told you. You just pass it along to them. That's the way they should go. So the pressure is off. I have to come up with some original plan for these kids. No, you don't. You just have to teach them the path of God. Now, I want to talk a little bit about provoking your children to wrath, and what it means. Raise your hand if your parents ever provoked you to wrath. Oh, come on, they're not even. Just raise your hand. Parents never made you mad? Some of you are liars. Or you don't have very long hands. Sometimes parents provoke their children to wrath just by doing what's right. And that cannot be helped. When you provoke your child when you're mad at you because you're doing the right thing, don't worry about it. But what this is talking about is one of two categories of parents. The first one is you're being too unreasonable and harsh. You're asking too much. Your rules don't make any sense. When somebody upsets you, you get really angry. And you handle things in an angry way. You model angry behavior. And when you discipline, it's too much, or it's too harsh. Or you're too mad when you do it. That's going to provoke your children to wrath. And this is very. You think, well, I'd never do that. Yeah, you probably will. Because there'll be a moment when one of those kids that you have makes you so mad that you can't see straight. And you love them. Every minute of time that you're mad, you are mad. And it's in those moments that you could provoke your wrath and not even be wanting to do that. So you can do this in an aggressive, harsh way, or you can do it in another, which I think more often than not is what happens. You can provoke your children to wrath by not doing anything. Well, let them do what they want to do. You know what? They'll grow out of it. They're not bothering anybody. Oh, I'm tired. I've had a long day. I don't want to deal with this again. And you might be thinking, no, that would make a kid happy if you just left them alone. It will for now. But watch how mad they get when they realize you didn't prepare them for life. They're going to be mad at you. And you could provoke your children wrath, just not anything, and just leave them alone. And they may seem happy as clams in your house. And all of a sudden, they don't want anything to do because you did not give them the boundaries that they needed. Bring them up, train them up, rear them up to maturity. This is discipline. It's not just negative discipline. Discipline comes from the root word decide. You need to be doing something positive with them. If your ideas of discipline are spank them when they do something wrong. That's like maybe a quarter of it, maybe less. The bulk of it is what am I doing positively with this child? It doesn't say train them up in all the ways they shouldn't go. That's part of it. But where am I supposed to go? Take me. Show me. Okay, Jesus' example is Jesus had boundaries. He was incredibly selfless, sacrificial, and generous, but he also set boundaries, didn't he? I need some time to pray. Disciples, you've had a hard day, hard week. We need to go somewhere and rest. These people, I'm not sure are doing the right thing. In fact, they're not. I'm going to trust myself to them. I'm going to set some boundaries. Jesus did that. You need to do that. So that you can teach your kids how to do that. Give them their own room when you have kids. Give them their own toys, chores, give them their own incentives, rewards, give them responsibilities and rules and phones so that they can go off class like that. And follow through with all of that. Follow through with those consequences. And when it's painful for them, do it anyway because that's teaching boundaries. Oh, I ran into an electric fence. That's gonna hurt. Ever ran into an electric fence? My grandparents had them. And I thought you were trying to kill your grandchildren. But they were trying really to protect us. If a boundary doesn't ever push back, if it never hurts, if it's never painful, then it doesn't make much difference. Think about the person that you want your child to be 50 or 60 years old. Who do you want to hang out with? Some brat never learned how to have boundaries and say no and be responsible and do the right thing, or an adult that you help train to go in the way they should. Who do you want to hang out with? Whose grandchildren do you want to spend time with? Boundaries. Number two is balance. Johnny Cash sang the words, "You're so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good." If you're a Johnny Cash fan today, you're so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good. I think I know what he meant, but I don't think he's right. He probably encountered some people whose minds were really on heavenly things. Maybe they were just overtly superficially religious people. But a heavenly minded person is exactly what God wants us to be. Colossians 3, 1 and 2. Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. So we need to be heavenly minded, but we do need to be balanced. We don't need to be unbalanced. Creation is balanced. If you look at the creation account, 6 days. God has done it like that. God could have created everything in 1 second. Why did he give us the example? I'm going to do this on day 2. When we get to day 7, I'm going to rest. Who was that for? Is that for God? Because he just can't handle trees. We got to wait till tomorrow. No, that's for you. That's a model of balance. Ecclesiastes 1 through 8. There's a time for all these different things, right? There's a time for weeping, there's a time for laughing, time for mourning, rejoicing. A balanced life is just going to be what happens anyway. When Jesus was growing up, he grew in wisdom, stature, with God, with man, 52. Live a balanced life, be a balanced parent. Because you've lived a balanced life. Again, there's don't wait until you're a parent to say, how do I be a balanced parent? It's just an extension of you. If you'll be a balanced person, then you'll be a balanced parent. Sometimes as a person you get anxious, anxiety says when those anxieties scale, and you need to balance that out, cast them on me. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. If things have gotten out of hand, and you're concerned and worried about stuff, put the kingdom back in its place. Put it first in life. Watch God take care of it. Balance that out. When you feel like you just can't get enough stuff, and you always want to go to Disney World again, right? As a kid. Oh, can we just go again? Just again. Listen to what the Bible says about content. Balance your life. If you have a balanced life, if you always have to have more and more, you'll be a balanced parent. And you'll teach that to your kids. This is what we do in our family, and I'll give the rest of the time whatever John. We have a yearly theme here that's called work hard, play hard, pray hard. And we're trying to balance out our kids' life experiences. When it's time for them to work, we have expectations. They have to do it in a certain way. If they don't, they're punished. There's consequences. If they do it in a certain way, there's rewards. A lot more than I got when I was doing chores. Work hard. It's time to do your schoolwork. Do it right. The first time. And you'll be rewarded both now and later. But when it's time to play, we play hard. We have family bingo. We have all these fun things in a bowl, and the kids draw one week, and we go do it together. We took all of our kids to Pate Express last night and played in her floor through the halls. And we played hard because it was time to play hard. And then when it's time for Bible study, and it's time to pray, and it's time to visit, it's time to write cards, then we're going to do that too. And nobody's going to. What are we doing? We haven't done that in 6 weeks. They're never going to say that because it's part of what we always do. Be balanced. John.
Consistency. Kind of goes along with balance in some respect, I guess. But living a consistent life is very difficult for those of you who have tried to do so. And being a consistent parent is even much more difficult, I would say. I mean, what do you think when you look around and you see someone saying one thing but doing another? You ever see that? With your friends, family? What do you do? You look at them and kind of shake your head, don't you? Just like, what are they thinking? Believe it or not, you'll get those from your children from time to time. They realize and they catch you being inconsistent because it happens more than you want to know, more than we want to admit. With regard to consistency is a word though that we use it quite often. David and I, it's one of the things we kind of harp on a lot of things, not just parenting, but with regard to Christian faith and what we do as Christians on a day in and day out basis, because consistency kind of points to someone who truly believes in what they're saying and doing and making sure that it kind of jives together. That consistent mentality is something that should be striven for by Christians. We need the Daniels of this world to be the fathers of this world. Because they are who they are day in and day out. Regardless of what this world wants to say or do to them, they are consistent. And Daniel, that's the way he was. He lived his life in that manner, right? That's why God thrown in the lion's den. It's because he was consistent. He would not stop praying even when the government said quit praying. And so that consistency is an example for us, even when you think about your parenthood. Whenever you're a parent, if you're not consistent, your children will call you out on it very quickly. They will make sure and point out that, well, Daddy, you said this, but you did this last week. And you are then saying, you're right. And that's whenever you have to try about face and try to correct course. But consistency, if you are aiming for something with regard to being a faithful and a godly parent, I would say consistency is one of those biggest things. You say and you do the things that you say you're going to do and say. You're going to go to those places consistently. You tell your children that are important. So like going to church. And going to Bible class. If they're important to you, it is going to be a consistent lifestyle that you have. And it starts now. If you're not getting up to go to Bible study on Sunday morning because you're too tired for jamboree practice on Saturday night. There's an issue there, right? That will carry over into parenthood, unfortunately. Because let me tell you, Saturday night's not any easier when you get older and you have children. Okay? If anything, they get much harder. But you are consistent if you start out now and realize there are going to be certain things that you're not going to compromise and you're not going to change. And you're going to be in church for worship. You're going to be here for a Bible study because you see how important it is in your life is going to reflect that. Your children understand that. It is never a question in my home whether or not we are going to Bible study. They don't ask that question. It is assumed. Why? Because we are consistently showing that that's important in our life. And so if you do that with regard to your family, if you do that with regard to your life, a lot of problems are going to go away the wayside. Real quickly, the last one, correction. Correction will be the last C. There's a lot of scriptures we could talk to about correction. We've already talked about discipline. Discipline goes hand in hand with correction. Now again, they're not the exact same thing. Y'all can understand that, right? There are times for discipline, which Jeremy talked about. The root word being disciple means to lead along with, and to kind of guide along beside you, and to try and help hold them and guide them the ways they're supposed to be. That's done in so many different ways. One of those ways is correction, by the way. Sometimes whenever we've got a brand new puppy dog, we've had her for a week and 3 days, I think. Drive me batty. Because we never had an inside dog, so we're trying to train this dog. And it's very interesting to try and train a dog because you have to be consistent. And with your correction, my two C's go together there. Because you got to constantly make sure you're doing the same thing over and over again. And when she messes up, you want to make sure and correct her by saying no. Or my wife has gotten a little paper towel and kind of swatted the bottom just a little bit. Too hard, really fragile. But you know that correction means something because you're trying to push them back on the road they need to be in. There's only so extent that you can pull someone along, or maybe teach them, and trying to explain to them why they need to be where they're going to be going. There's only so much you can do with a child that way. Sometimes it takes force to put them back on that road. And as parents, we've got to understand there's a reason why the Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child. There's a reason why God made our bodies spanking according to the Proverbs. All right, there are some times when correction is needed. And I would tell you, as I was talking to Monica last night about this class, I said, what do you think of a good parenting principle? She said, spank them early so you don't have to spank them later. And that's exactly what the bottom line of correction becomes is when you correct properly and early on and keep that consistent with regard to your correction, then things are resolved. You're not having to do it. My daughter is now, she turned 14, and she's 14. I don't have to spank her like I used to when she was 3. And you know why? Because when she was 3. Same thing with regard to our Christian lives. You got to think about that too with regard to correction. Correction is important because it gets us back where we're supposed to be. It corrects things. And so correction is very important as a Christian, but with regard to parenting and what we've seen as a lesson to teach to you is don't forget that children need to be corrected, because you as a parent have got to make sure that you are making sure they stay on that road they're supposed to be. We're out of time tonight, guys. Appreciate y'all. I know you got spring break next week. Y'all be safe. Be careful. Get back to us safely when you get back.